Mm, here I saw the multiplication sign. So this will be for the first forecast period, and then we can drag the corresponding. Yep, that's good. So basically, the revenue is on year growth. So each year will be growing by 4% for the forecast periods. And next, other revenues will again take the given values from our P&L sales tab. Let me drag this. And again, we'll be doing this on a year-on-year basis. So the formula remains the same. Current year divided by previous year minus 1. You can see the negative sign because it has reduced here and then it's picking up. Now we'll again do the average of these two values and then take this as the percentage and be this one multiplied by the rate plus 1. This should, we have to do the second one. Equal this one into this one plus 1. So from this we can drag on. Yes, the format is correct, right? And the cost of goods sold. So basically, your raw materials and your direct costs make up your cost of goods sold. Therefore, we'll be clubbing these two here together in order to find our value here. So in order to do that, we'll attach these values here. This one plus this one. And then now we can drag this as the formula will extend to those values. And from here on, we'll be taking these as a percentage of revenues. This is because cost of goods sold is dependent on your revenue. As your revenue increases, your operations also increases. Therefore, if your production increases, your cost of goods sold will also increase. So this will be on the basis of percentage of revenues. So the formula would be this way. We'll just add a minus sign here for these values. And now we'll take the average. For this, we can actually take the average formula. It would be these. So we'll give enter. So this is the average of all these three values. We'll hard code it and we'll drag it through the years. So this will basically be your revenues multiplied by your average percentage here, that is 19,000 here. And so now we can drag these out here. Again, now your operating expenses will be your costs from your employee benefit plan and employee benefit expenses to the change in inventory. So these make up your operating expenses. And so we are clubbing all these. Let's shift the minus symbol here in order for the presentation, and then we drag this formula here so that all these remains. screen. Yes. And now again, we're going to take this as a percentage of your revenue because of the above reason as I told earlier. And now again, let's just copy paste. Let's do the formula here. Average of all these three values is 21. So let's just hard code this value here and let's grab it. Now this should be again your revenue multiplied by the staff percentage, that is 6,000, and let's just grab it over here. And now the next one is your depreciations and your amortization. Let's add a minus element here for presentation and drag it throughout the given year. Again, this is the percentage of your revenue. As your operations increases, your things, your patterns and your machineries also will increase, and that depends on your revenue. Because if your revenue increases, these will increase, and therefore your depreciation and amortization expense will also increase. Therefore, this is a percentage of your revenue. It will be 6%, and let's drag these percentages. Again, we'll be doing the average of all these three values. Now let's upload it and drag it. And again, we'll be doing it as a percentage of your revenue. We'll drag it over here. Next is your extraordinary items. Extraordinary items is basically any natural calamities or anything that cannot be forecasted. So basically, we don't have any extraordinary items given in our P&L stores here because it is nil here. So, and another thing is we cannot do a forecast for extraordinary item because we cannot forecast uh, any natural calamities or anything good or bad. This could be good or bad, so we cannot expect this growth. Therefore, this we'll just assume it to be zero. We'll not be forecasting the extraordinary items. So I'll just drag these right here for the given years. And again, in the financial year, so just grab it here. and and interest expenses. A note for interest expenses is also as above. Any public company or any company, in fact, won't reveal their plans to borrow. So therefore, if they don't reveal their plans to borrow, we cannot forecast the interest expense or the loan for the forecast year. Therefore, for this also, we'll be considering the assumption as zero here, but we'll just link these values here for the sake given in the P&L statement. If you take your interest expense as your percentage of revenue, it will be such a case here. We're taking the base as as a percentage of revenue because in order to increase if your revenues increase, your operations increase, and therefore you might need more funding and you will be going for loans, and that is the case we are taking it as per percentage of revenue. And here, as I told, we'll be taking the percentage forecast as zero, as no company would reveal their plans to borrow here. And therefore, we'll keep, oh no, we will keep it same as this. And the taxes will take it for now from here, and This will be your taxes will be from the percentage of your EBT, that is your earnings before tax. And in the P&L assumption tab, we don't have the EBT. Therefore, we'll first do our P&L tab, and then we'll come back to our P&L assumptions tab here. So first, let me give a percentage of this. We have the EBT for the given year, so we'll do that for this year, the given years alone. This is 26, 36, negative. And this will be your average of these three values. Let's start with this, and we'll drag it for the forecast years. And these values will come after finding the P&L tab. Now, this is the actual P&L tab for the forecast years. What we do here is we'll just do the linking from the P&L assumptions tab, and you can just drag it here. We'll delete it from there. So once let me just check it. Yeah, the values are correct. So we'll do the same here too. We'll drag it here. And your total revenues will be the summation of these two values, your revenues and your other revenues. We'll drag this value again. In your cost of goods sold, again, you will link it from your P&L assumptions tab, which we have found here. And we'll drag it. Your gross margin would be your total revenues minus your cost of goods sold. That is 6,000. And let's just grab this formula here. Your other expenses will take from P&L assumptions tab again. Drag it. And your earnings before interest, tax, depreciation, and amortization will be your gross margin minus your operating expense. 2,000 here. And we'll drag it here. Again, we'll take your depreciation and amortization value from the P&L assumptions tab. Your earnings before interest and tax will be your EBITDA minus your depreciation and amortization. And now again, we'll drag this here. Your interest expense, as we know, will be taken again from here. Drag it. And we don't have any extraordinary items in this case, but still we will link it to our P&L assumptions tab. Your EBT will be, earnings before tax will be EBIT minus your interest expenses and your extraordinary item. Drag it. And your taxes will be taken for the given years from here. Tax rate also will take it from here. Let's drag it throughout these years. And your taxes, your EBT into your tax rate that you have forecasted. And finally, your net income will be your EBT minus your taxes, that is 669. Let's just check it here. And yes, it's equal to your given period. Therefore, the check is cleared. and you can just drag it here. So this will be your forecast net income. And just for safety, we can just put a check here. Check would be for the given years alone, we'll be doing the check. That is this minus. And then, so yeah, what we have done here is good. And one more thing, you just link this part from your and drag it. And thank you. Hi, this is Manoj S from BAA. So I have taken the financial modeling for a forecast period. For this case, I have taken MRF as my company, and this is the P&L source. That is, I have taken the values from the P&L of the company for the years 2022, 23, and 24, and I'll be I'll be forecasting it for the next 5 years. So here you can just, we are in the P&L source tab, and this I have directly taken from the company's website. And then I'll be starting with doing the P&L assumptions, that is taking the basis for each of the financial line items. And with this, we'll be finding the final P&L values for the next 5 years given here. So first, let's start with doing the P&L assumptions. I'll be linking the data directly from the P&L source tab here for the first 3 years that we have taken. And here, revenue is basically taken on a year-on-year growth rate. Therefore, we cannot do it for the first year, and we'll be starting it from the second year. So the formula for this would be current year divided by the previous year minus 1. So this is the growth percentage from the previous year to that of the current year. And then we can drag this formula for the next year. And for the year-on-year growth rate for the forecast years, we'll be taking the assumption as the average of the given years. Uh, so therefore, we'll be taking this plus this divided, okay, divided by 2. And let me just lock this. So I'll just drag this for the next year too. So basically, this is the average of the financial year 2 and 3, and we'll be taking that as the basis for the next 5 years.